we get to talk about the best show on television, AMC's The Walking Dead. Today we're talking about Season 5, Episode 12, called Remember. The group has finally made it to Alexandria. What did you guys think of the episode? I was so amazed by it. Alexandria is by far one of my most favorite story arcs, I guess if you could call it that, from the comics. I just love that her group has been on the road for so long and finally gets a break, and a great break at that, because there are so many luxuries and things that they've been doing without for over a year now. And to have electricity and hot running water, it's amazing. So to get right into my review, we start out with the group entering Alexandria. They're kind of baffled by all of the luxuries and things. You know, they're very wary, they're very on edge. They're not sure if this is a good group or a bad group at this point, because obviously they've had so many bad experiences by now. So they're coming into Alexandria and they're very just on edge. They have their interviews with Deanna. We get to see a few of the interviews. Probably the best ones were Rick meeting with Deanna, because obviously he's very skeptical. He's not sure he wants to stay here. He's kind of looking, you know, he for an angle. What is Deanna's angle here? And he even warns Deanna against letting groups from the outside come in, because everyone is looking for what they can take from you. And at first you think that he is just actually warning her, you know, be careful, you shouldn't be taking groups in. And then at the end, you know, at the end of the episode, you realize he's warning her about themselves, about his group, himself. What can they take? What they're looking for an angle. So just a great interview with him, because he's just very, you know, grimy and gross. And at one point he sticks his hand on the window to look out at, and he moves his hand away, and there's like a big gross dirty handprint there. So he's to see our group in this new element of these nice clean homes, and everything seems normal. It seems very pre-apocalypse here. You know, you have electricity, running water. It's pretty amazing. And to see our group, you know, tired and worn out and just grimy and gross, you know, having been on the road for so long in this nice shiny new place, it's very weird to see. Darrell's interview, we didn't see very much of it, but you know, he refused to sit down. He was pacing around the room. He still got his crossbow on, and he was acting very much like a caged animal, you know, a frightened caged animal, where they're just pacing around the cage looking for a way out, looking for a way to escape. And you can tell he's gonna have a really hard time here in Alexandria, because he's not used to fitting into any kind of society here. You know, he thrives in the apocalypse, in those kinds of situations, and he's a survivor. And to see him conform to kind of a new society here, I don't think it's going to happen for him. We see by the end of the episode, he still hasn't taken a shower. He just doesn't know what to do with himself. And I'm a little bit worried that he's going to go out on his own. We've seen previews for the next episode already, and it looks like Aaron is following him while he's out on doing something. We don't really know what he's doing, but he probably just can't be around all of these people. It's very weird to him, you know? He's very socially awkward here as well. You know, he just doesn't know how to deal with people anymore. It's kind of like caveman style, you know, he's reverted back to his caveman ways. And then there was Carol. I mean, she's just brilliant. I have always loved Carol as a character, and I've loved seeing her grow through all of the seasons, but this was just amazing. So I was pretty impressed by her back at Terminus, when she just immediately came up with a great plan to rescue everyone, and she pulled that off like flawlessly. I mean, she was so amazing, dressing up like a walker and causing the explosions and everything. It was just incredible. You know, she's so smart to be always analyzing things, always being able to figure out a plan just on the spot. And so from the moment she gets to Alexandria, she is playing herself as a weak woman who is just been taken care of by this group. You know, she doesn't really know how to handle a gun. She is just very meek and, you know, a non-threatening person. And in her interview, you know, she's talking about Ed and how great of a person he was, and how she misses him so much, and you know, that she wouldn't be here if she hadn't been taken care of by the group, you know, and she's kind of like their den mother, which we know is like completely opposite. of her actual personality. Like, she is a threat. She's very much a threat. She's probably one of the biggest threats next to Rick, to Alexandria, because she's very strong, she's very capable, and she's very smart. And so she's, we see her, she's going to work herself into this society here at Alexandria, and she's going to make friendships and get herself really involved in the community that's there so that she can get information in a non-threatening way, and she can work herself in there, and just when you're not expecting it, she can take you out, you know? I mean, one of my viewers said the perfect phrase, and I'm not going to word it the right way, but it's like she's there and then all of a sudden she's going to just tell you to look at the flowers, you know? You're not expecting it. And I love that about her. And probably the best scene for me out of the show was her coming out of the house in this like very, I don't even, Stepford Wives outfit. You know, very very put together and completely not Carol at all. And she's very put together, and Darrell tells her that she just looks ridiculous. You know, it was such a great line, such a great moment. Obviously I love Darrell, but just to see them completely opposite, like she's trying to fit perfectly into this community while Darrell is like trying to not conform at all. Like, he just doesn't want anything to do with it. And it was such a great moment. Moving right along from the interviews, we say goodbye to Rick's beard. Very sad day. You know, it's very weird to see him babyface Rick again. And we get a nice shower scene from him. We say goodbye to the beard, and then he answers the door, and we're introduced to Jesse. So most of you probably saw my reaction video where I was pretty upset that Jesse was here. You know, I will say this, I want Rick to experience some happiness. I think that he deserves that at this point with whoever it is. Obviously I'm a little bit partial to Michonne because of the relationship that they've been developing since the prison. You know, they've been very close, and even at the prison they were very close. And then, you know, when they abandoned the prison, she found them and they were on the road together, and their relationship just has grown very close over the past few seasons, and in their travels where, you know, they're very good friends, and they have this, whatever relationship it is, you know, obviously it's not romantic at this point, but they are constantly around each other and constantly looking for the other person and looking to see what the other person is thinking. And so, you know, I'm very partial to them potentially developing a relationship in the future. Obviously we have Jesse. Comic spoilers are ahead, so watch out for that if you haven't read the comics and are looking to read them. But Jesse, you know, in the comics, he has a brief relationship with Jesse, and it doesn't last very long, but then eventually he gets with Andrea, you know, and we're very happy with him being with Andrea. I've heard some theories that potentially this Jesse thing will be long-term and we won't ever see Michonne, that it won't be short-term like it was in the comics. So I guess we'll wait and see. You know, she doesn't seem like a bad person. I regretfully kind of liked her character a little bit, you know. She's very pretty. But, you know, it's just hard because I really would like to see Michonne. But I'm excited for Rick to hopefully experience a little bit of happiness here while he's at Alexandria and getting settled in. So it would be, you know, it would be pretty awesome to see him happy for a little bit. Obviously there will probably be some confrontation between him and Pete, who is Jesse's husband at this point, because obviously they can't have a relationship really while he's still involved, because he does not seem like the best guy. Yeah, we'll see if he's played like he is in the comics, but so far it kind of looks like that way, especially with him creeping on the porch saying, "My wife cut your hair, welcome," in like the most non-welcoming way ever. So we're introduced to Jesse. We're seeing a lot of new characters here. We see a brief glimpse of Olivia, though they don't call her Olivia, which was great. I was just really excited because I automatically knew that was her. And then in the previews for next week's episode, we see that it is indeed, her name is Olivia. So it's pretty awesome to see that character brought to life. I really like her from the comics. And we also meet Carl's new potential girlfriend. Not really, I mean, we don't know. Is her name Enid or Edith? I thought it was Enid, but I've heard some people say Edith, and now I can't remember and haven't watched the show again. So, but very, very interesting. So we see her at the beginning of the episode in a house outside Alexandria watching the group. I don't think anybody in Alexandria knows that she's there. So and later in the episode, we see her sneaking out, climbing the wall, and doing something in the woods, you know, near the house that Rick has hid his gun before he entered Alexandria. I did not realize that house was so close. So he went off into the woods, or behind the house, and hid the gun there, and then pretty much walked right into Alexandria. I mean, I didn't realize that it was that close. How did he do that without being seen? It seems weird. But it sort of seems like Alexandria at this point, they don't have anybody on guard watching from up above the fence. So hopefully that will come later as, you know, Rick, I'm sure Rick will see that that's important. But at this point, it doesn't look like they have anybody watching out. So it seems likely that when Rick's gun disappeared, that it was probably Enid who took it. And that tells us, what is she gonna do with this gun? It makes me think there's gonna be some kind of conflict later maybe in the next few episodes, or maybe not even until next season. But I think somewhere that gun is gonna turn up again, and if she does indeed have it, you know, maybe she'll be responsible for something bad happening. You know, maybe she's going to be really unhappy and start brandishing the gun. Like, we don't know. We don't know what her deal is. Why is she leaving Alexandria? What is she doing out there? Ugh, I don't know. But obviously Carl suspects a little something. You know, he's very interested in this girl. So there is also another point to be made there. When Rick looks for the gun, doesn't find it, there is a walker wrapped in a carpet there in the rubbish pile. Now, it seems I don't think that walker was just like gonna crawl up in there and take a nap. So, and I'm pretty sure that if that walker had been there when Rick had hidden the gun there, it would have made itself known. Like, I just can't imagine that there would be a random walker just in there. So it makes me think, well, maybe Enid wasn't the one who took the gun. Maybe there was someone else out there watching, and it put the walker there as a trap, so that when Rick reached down for the gun again, he would get bit. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Enid is conferring with other people out there. We know that there is definitely going to be some kind of conflict with these wolves, people who are likely to be the scavengers from the comics. We just keep getting hints of wolves. I mean, it's just, I think, AMC messing with us at this point. The writers, Scott Gimple, they're just messing with us at this point, throwing in little things to see if we're going to see it or not. On the back of the comic book that Carl picks up at one point in the show, it says wolf fight. I mean, really, come on. Wolf fight, you couldn't pick any other comic. So obviously they're trying to tell us something. They're trying to see if we're catching all of these wolf hints that are in the show. So definitely I think we're gonna have some kind of confrontation with these people at some point before the season ends. Do they have something to do with Enid? Who knows? Maybe she's a spy. I mean, I don't know at this point, but she's definitely acting really sketchy. So we see that Rick has a new job. Alexandria, Deanna has given everyone in Alexandria jobs to do, and I'm really interested to see what Maggie's job is, and to see what like Rosita's job is, and see if Abraham's job is the same as the comics. So we don't really know what everyone's doing at this point. It looks like Glenn and Tara are going to be involved in supply runs at some point. You know, who else? Carol's involved in the community doing whatever she's doing, cooking, cleaning, I don't know what she's doing, helping the old people. And we see Rick and Michonne are given the jobs of being constables, also known as cops, officers, whatever. Rick is back in uniform, baby face. I just don't even know what to do with myself. It's pretty awesome. There were a lot of scenes from the comics that were pretty well done in the episode as well. If you guys haven't checked out my Facebook page yet, I have a Facebook page for Weekly Walker Talk. It's just facebook.com/Weekly Walker Talk. And I posted from panel to, what is it? It's like a comparison from the comic panels to the TV show. And it was pretty awesome seeing, like, in the comics, seeing Douglas standing there with his arm on the back of a chair, and then seeing Deanna, who is supposed to be Douglas from the comics, a take on him, standing there with her arm in the back of the couch, you know. I mean, there's just, this episode was like a comic lover's dream. It was amazing. So at the very end of the episode, to wrap up my review, we see Rick and Darrell and Carol out there, you know, and Carol is saying that they can't let themselves become weak. They can't let their guard down. You know, in so many words, this is what she's saying. They can't get too used to this place and become weak. Carl said the same thing. You know, he doesn't want to get weak and then have to leave this place and end up dying because they've forgotten how to take care of themselves, you know. And Rick, I can't remember Rick's exact phrase, but essentially he says, like, if they have to, they will just take this place from Deanna. They will just take over this place. And I just, I loved it. I loved it so much because Rick is letting his guard down a little bit in Alexandria, and he's letting himself settle in, but he is not becoming the, you know, passive Rick again. He is very much still the Rick-tator, you know? I mean, he's there and he's looking for an angle, just like he told Deanna in his interview. He's looking for an angle and he's trying to figure out, what is this place all about? And if we have to, we're gonna find their weaknesses and we're gonna take it from him. So I can't wait to see next week's episode, you guys. It's gonna be awesome. Let me know what you thought about this episode in the comments below. What are you looking forward to next week? And I will see you guys next time. I hope you have a fantastic day.